What's up, guys? Welcome back to Among the Fence. I am your host, Aaron, and if it's your first time here, I'd like to welcome you to my channel where I do album reviews and we could just sit and talk about music and all the things we love or hate. So if you have an album or single, new or old, you want me to review, go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what it is and I'll make it happen for you. But if you do that, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notified when I do upload videos. That way, when I make the video and I upload it, you get a chance to see it, because sometimes that doesn't happen when people request it, and that just makes me sad. And on today's album review, we're going to be talking about the new album How to Survive a Funeral by the band Make Them Suffer. Make Them Suffer is an Australian metalcore band with kind of deathcore and hardcore elements and stuff. I guess their main genre would be metalcore. They started about 2008 and they have 4 studio albums. And I gotta start by saying that the whole production and mix of this album is very, very crisp and clear, and the whole tone and feel of the album is pretty dark, which I guess that kind of fits the name of How to Survive a Funeral. The intro song on the album, Step 1, is incredibly atmospheric, and it's kind of mystical, and it feels like something's gonna happen, and it gets right to business. As soon as the main riff comes in and Sean Harmonist screams, "Speak from your heart," which is basically what this album does. The next song, Falling Ashes, is extremely energetic, and the vocal and just rhythm guitar and drum syncopation or synchronization is just absolutely phenomenal. It's just nasty. It even had, dare I say, a genty feel to it, and the interlude has this kind of robotic vocal passage that builds into this just insane outro. 2 songs on this album stuck out to me quite a bit. I'd say the first one would be Drown With Me, which has this really hardcore thing going on. And the intro lyric, "Come Drown With Me," gives the song just an overwhelming, haunting feel to it, especially when you get to the chorus. The chorus, which features Brooke Nile, who has an absolutely beautiful voice, is mixed very, very well with Sean's more aggressive hardcore voice. And when you add the lyrics in there, it just, like I said, it's very haunting. The lyrics say, "Take my hand, don't be scared, drown with me if you can," which is kind of like a devil in disguise. I imagine like a beautiful woman reaching her hand out to you, and she's actually your downfall, I guess. The next song that stuck out to me is the title track, How to Survive a Funeral, which has a very screechy guitar intro and has probably my favorite drums on the whole album. The contrast from the hardcore heavy metal verse going into the more chill, laid-back piano symphonic pre-chorus, which features Book of Nile again, is just so good. The vocals from Sean in the bridge are just so freaking raw and ugly. Like, you can almost hear the spit coming out of his mouth and hitting the microphone, and it's just real. I also got to give a shout out to the song Bones, which has a very just stompy riff, and it makes you want to get up and stomp around. But the riff evolves about 3 times throughout the whole verse, so it keeps it from becoming just simplified and redundant. And I enjoyed the song a lot. It's almost a favorite. I just didn't enjoy the chorus all that much, which it's just a typical metalcore sounding clean vocal chorus. There's a little bit of sizzle on the clean vocals, which I enjoyed, but the overall sound of the chorus just wasn't really there for me. I wasn't that big of a fan of the song Erase Me. It's got blazing fast machine gun drums. The melodic riff is pretty good. Book of Nile, again, is absolutely amazing. It's just the lyrics. I wasn't really able to get into the lyrics. The music in it's great, but the lyrics are just where it fell flat for me. I'm not really into the whole "I'm not worth saving" theme of the song, even though I gotta admit it did give me some Counterparts vibes, which I was into. And I made a video where I reviewed the single release track, Soul Decay, which I wasn't really all that into that one either. I gave it a 2.3 out of 5. And it was just very tame for Make Them Suffer, and it was pretty, I don't know, it was very boring. It didn't make me excited about this album, like, at all. I was excited about it because it's Make Them Suffer, but when I listened to the single, it didn't do anything for me. I also didn't really like the song Fake Your Own Death, which I guess would be about digging your own grave. It felt like just the mandatory random heavy song on the album, which I get that a lot of people are gonna like. It does have some deathcore elements to it, which are pretty solid, but overall the music, it was just, like I said, just felt like a mandatory heavy song. I did enjoy the kind of fast fried screams that were in the breakdown, but still, just the music in the breakdown, it wasn't really anything to write home about. It was just kind of there. This whole song, it fit the album well, but as far as standing out, it didn't do that. I'm probably also going to get a lot of hate because I didn't enjoy the song The Attendant, which is the mandatory slow song on the album, just like the mandatory heavy song. It was just so very, very generic. I get when bands that are heavy, they want to have slow parts, they want to do slower stuff to break up the monotony and add more emotion, I guess, even though a lot of the emotion was coming through pretty well in the heavy stuff. But it just gives a different tone, moves the album into a different direction. And they did that well, and the music is good and everything's good. It's just, it's almost like radio play, man. I could also blame it on the lyrics, which I wasn't really that into. They felt like a continuation of Erased Me lyrics saying, I'm toxic, I'm hurtful, how am I to be saved? It's just, I'm not really into those kind of lyrics, I guess, which I guess is not really important for most people or the people that relate to them better. But for me, it was it's probably my least favorite song on the album. The last song on the album, That's Just Life, is pretty solid. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It has this different kind of like party mix vibe to it, which at first I wasn't really sure, but as the song, probably about like a minute into the song, I was digging it. And then when the chorus comes in at Book of Nile again in the chorus, I just wish that her vocals were just a little bit more front and center, just because I enjoyed them more. But I mean, it was still a freaking great sound that they had. And even though the overall music of That's Just Life is fairly heavy and fast and driving, they did a good job at mixing the soft and the hardcore vocals in with it without it just not sounding like it was put together very well. It's got a killer riff, the music is good, and it comes off really well, especially for a finishing song with the lyric That's Just Life. It's a really good song. So with all that said, I gotta give How to Survive a Funeral by the band Make Them Suffer a 6.6 out of 10. Make Them Suffer's first 3 albums are phenomenal. They're so good. And even though Soul Decay, the single release, made me just kind of not really excited about How to Survive a Funeral, even though it had that effect on me, I still had hope. I was still anticipating that this album would just be an all-around masterpiece and that song would still fit in really well. But it just wasn't really there for me. The album felt like it just didn't have Make Them Suffer's fingerprints on it. Like, it didn't have their characteristic. It felt like just anything any other metalcore band could have done, which is not Make Them Suffer. They're not just any other metalcore band. It does have good replayability to it. A lot of these songs are pretty catchy, especially, like I said, like, even though I wasn't that big of a fan of all the choruses, Book of Nile does a phenomenal job on every single thing that she touches in this album, which makes all those songs you just want to keep listening to them. You want to rewind and hear that chorus again, which, again, it's only like 2 or 3 songs where that happens, but they're still really solid. I just wish even the songs that didn't really have her on them, I wish that they were still good. Now that I just got done pissing off every Make Them Suffer fan, go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what you think of How to Survive a Funeral. If you haven't listened to it yet, go ahead and give it a listen, at least a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 songs, and let me know what you would rate it. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. If you didn't enjoy it, go ahead and give it a dislike, but let me know why. Let me know why you think How to Survive a Funeral is the greatest album Make Them Suffer's ever come out with and why it deserves a better score. Or maybe you agree with me and you feel like they could have done better. I don't know. I'm sitting here giving you guys my opinion, so I want to hear yours. Like I said, leave a comment below and let me know what you think of even just this review. And if you guys have any albums you want me to review, new or old, leave a comment below letting me know what that is too, and I'll make it happen for you. And I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're all having a good day. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will talk to you guys next time.
I was trying